This week we are going to work on something called strike a pose. And in your resources I have put several different, they're called gestures. Gesture is a showing of movement. These are stick people gestures. In class I call it stick figures with verbs because a verb is an action word. So for this lesson you're going to need the resources. You don't have to print it out, or you can use your own if you would like to. But you're going to need to strike a pose. Use your family members, say, strike a pose. Okay, so this is in your resources. You're going to need your eraser. You're going to need your lucky pencil. Does not have to look like mine, of course. And you're going to have to remember to draw lightly, so that if you make a mistake, you can erase. Now, some of the other items you'll need for this project is something to color with. Crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever it is that you have. And of course, if you just need to let me know. So let's get started on the project. I am going to, since I'm here by myself, I'm going to pick a strike a pose off of here. And I kind of like that one. So I'm going to try my best. Now the other thing is I'm also going to put feet on it because that adds to the interest. I'll show you that in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw lightly, and I'm just going to make it a stick figure. Stick figure has a head. I know it's light. My stick figure has a torso. My stick figure has legs. He's jumping, I guess. And then he has arms. And we put elbows on these. We're going to put elbows on these. One of the lessons that we do in class that's a little more complicated is we learn that there's shoulders and hips, and stick people have elbows and knees. So I'm going to make sure that I have elbows. Plus for this project, it sure does make it more interesting. Now, go ahead and put some feet on there. It's a matter of going boink and then another boink. I wouldn't worry about the hands. So that's the first step in this project. Now to give the stick figure some substance, some thickness, we're going to outline that. And this is what I mean. We're just going to go around it with our pencil lightly, leave space. All right, so there you go. I've outlined it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to go in and erase that center line so I have a solid figure. Here's where you could outline with a marker. You could outline with a colored pencil. I think I'm going to take a moment, pause the video, and outline mine with a Sharpie, and I'll be right back. I went and grabbed just a random handful of markers. I wasn't even really picky about that. But I outlined my figure, my strike a pose, and then I went back and erased all of those inner lines. That's why I drew them lightly. Now, I used purple to outline or to go over my lines, so I'm going to pick a contrasting color, which, remember from the color theory sheet, it might be something across from it, which would be complementary. It could be one of the colors right next to it, analogous. It can be all kinds of things. So I'm going to color in my figure. All right. Great job. So I'm going to pick a different color than the purple and the greenish teal, that turquoise, and I'm going to go around it again on the outside. So I think what I'm going to do, because I want it to look neat, and I want it to be thick enough of a line, I'm going to just outline again, just like I did. And you could use a pencil if you feel more comfortable, but you want to have some room to do some coloring, so you don't want it super close. Alrighty then. So that is my next outline layer. Leave this alone for right now. Don't color that all the way in. We'll come back and deal with that later. So I'm going to use a different color. I think I'll go with orange. And I'm going to do the same thing again. There's my next layer. So I'm going to choose another color. And I think I'm going to go with something lighter, like a yellow. Now, I need to let this orange really dry on the paper because this could possibly smear. So I'm just going to take a few minutes, walk away from it so I don't mess it up, and then I'm going to come back and do the yellow. I can go ahead and outline it, and that'll take a little bit of the time. All right, so I'm going to walk away and let it dry. When I come back, that'll be colored yellow. I finished my yellow layer, and so now I'm going to go back with purple, which is what I originally outlined with right here, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to outline, and then I'm going to go back in color. Remember, leave that alone in the center for right now. I finished my purple outline. So now we're going to have to pay attention over here. Some things might change a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to outline again. This time I'm using a raspberry fuchsia kind of color. So I'm going to outline, and I need to make sure I don't rub over what I've already done. Oh, goes off the side. Perfect. Perfect. We want that to happen. And I'm not going to try to squeeze in over here. I'm just going to come down here. Whew, now I'm going to color that one in. Well, it's really starting to fill up the page. Now, some of you may have even decided to do a little bit thinner outline so you have even more. So we're going to do another round of outlining, and I chose a lighter color. But I'm also going to have to walk away and let it dry for a moment before I start going over it again, coloring, because my hand is hitting it and smearing some, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, look, off the page. That's excellent. That's exactly what we want. That's our goal. And then I'm going to come right here and try to outline just like it comes off the page over here. It comes back on the page over here. Okay. I'm not going to worry about right here. It's a little bit small, so I think I'll just go ahead and color that in. Yours will be different, of course. I'm just thinking as I go. Off the side. Okay, now, while I'm not coloring, I want to go ahead and outline, because I'm going to let it sit for a minute, but I need to remember that this is what I just used, and we'll keep that safe. And then I'm going to come in, I think I'm going to try to get a blue. I always want to make sure that these work since I found them in the cabinet. All right, so I'm going to outline again. Off the sides. All right, now I know that doesn't make much sense, but I'll color it in and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Remember, leave that alone for right now. I have all my exterior done. So I'm going to come in here, and you could just color it all one color up, but I want to make it a little bit more interesting. So I am going to do 2 more colors in there to keep it interesting. And I think for the last color, I will come in with this one again. And voila, you have a completed strike a pose picture using your resources or your own pose that you come up with. So these resources will be on your page, so enjoy it, and I can't wait to see what you turn in.